Welcome to the Sober Strength podcast. I'm your host, Jesse Karajet. Thanks for being here and for showing up for yourself today. Got a great guest for you, and the topic is one that was really of interest to me when I reached out to this guest. I'm so glad he said yes. So we have James Swanwick on the show. James is hands down one of the most, I would say, influential and popular sobriety coaches. He's also an entrepreneur and an author. Before I was in this space, I knew of James. I listened to his awesome podcast, and he's just been helping people for a while. James joined the show, and we specifically talk about his concept of a high performer and what a high performer is. You might think, okay, in the professional arena, but like what it is in life, what is a high-performing mindset? Why it is that high performers are particularly vulnerable to substance use challenges, or should I say why they find themselves using substance alongside their high-performing life, and probably most importantly, what to do about it, how to correct or how to fix or heal from substance use so that you can not only be even more productive, but I think a common theme in this interview with James is be more happy, choose to be happy. So it was a great conversation, and I really I appreciated hearing his perspective, and I hope you do as well. So without further ado, welcome to the show, James Swanwick. So my first question for you, what exactly is a high performer? And then why do you find yourself focusing on helping that particular niche?
A high performer is someone who strives to be outstanding as opposed to just being excellent or very good. There's lots of people thinking that they're excellent or very good or doing a good job, but a high performer is someone who's really striving for excellence, has that intention to be outstanding. Near enough is good enough does not come into their vocabulary. Or if it is in their vocabulary, they're trying to eradicate it and to step up. So what we've found in terms of my business, which is we help folks to stop drinking alcohol, or high performers to stop drinking alcohol, we're really looking at those who consider themselves a high performer, who want to reach peak performance, but they've got this ball and chain around their ankle called alcohol. And so we help them to rewire their mindset around alcohol so they can remove the ball and chain that's holding them back in their health, wealth, love, and happiness, so they can actually achieve outstanding results as opposed to just good or maybe very good results.
Any chance that the reason they have a problem with alcohol is because they strive so hard to be high performers?
One of the reasons, yeah, one of the reasons. People are driven for many things. Maybe their mum loved them too much or not enough as a child. Somebody told them that they were no good in the playground when they were 7 years old, and that showed up in adult life, and they're just striving to fill that hole in their heart. That is possible. What we find is that the prospective clients who we talk to, who ultimately become clients, they're a very, very interesting demographic. It's mostly above the age of 40, 45, average age. They've got high blood pressure. Some of them have acid reflux. They're weathered, they're tired, they're not sleeping great. Many of them wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning and find it challenging to sleep deeply thereafter. And when we dig into it, we find out that many of them are drinking half a bottle of wine a night, 3 or 4 scotches, 6-pack of beer. Many of them are getting drunk, but many of them are not getting drunk, but they're functioning. And they're not necessarily an alcoholic, at least what people think the term alcoholic means. They're functioning. And they're still operating at a high level, but they know deep down inside they're really only operating at about a 6 or a 7 out of 10 when they could be operating at an 8 or 9 out of 10. And their marriage or their relationship with their kids is probably only at a 3 out of 10 when it could be at an 8 out of 10 if they removed alcohol. So that's really the kind of clientele that we support, and certainly a very common situation when we speak with those folks.
Yeah. Would you say that the clientele that you support, are they coming to you just to help with the substance use so that they can get their productivity subjectively from a 6 to a 7 to an 8 to a 9? Or are they coming to you to look at the whole picture holistically and say, how did I get here? Alcohol is one such issue, but I just want to feel better, feel more in control, less stress, more present, what have you.
Mm. They've identified alcohol as being the problem, but really alcohol is just a symptom of the problems. And then what we help them to identify when they come through our 90-day stop drinking program and process is that the reason that they're drinking is because of all these other problems that they got. You know, like they're not connected with their wife or their husband. They're not connected with their children. They're envious of other people. They're jealous. They regret the past. They're lamenting the past. They have shame. They have embarrassment. They're fearful for the future. And then other times, you know, health is really a main motivator for a lot of people. And now all of a sudden you're in your late 40s and early 50s. You realize you've got less time on the earth as what you've already had. And for those people who at least come and talk to us, they want the second part of their life to be the best part.
I think anybody wants to think that they are in that category. But as you said, according to you, like 5% of people actually fit into it. So help my audience kind of either rule themselves in or out of that small bucket. How does someone know if they're a high performer? I think we've touched on a lot of little like hints and symptoms here, but kind of bring it all together for us. How would I know if I'm a high performer?
If you have a commitment to personal growth, then you're a high performer, in my view, at least in my eyes. Okay, so that means if you are willing to go in and do the work and understand why you are the person that you are and why you behave the way that you behave, irrespective of your profession, your income, your financial situation, you're already thinking like a high performer, in my view. Okay, now the way that shows up later on in life is that high performers tend to achieve high performance, and high performance
results.
Yeah, results. You do sleep well. You do know the difference between a pasture-raised egg and a cage-free egg. You know the difference between grass-fed beef and grain-fed beef. You do focus on your sleep quality. You know that sleep is the foundation of your life, and so you understand. You've studied it. You look at it. You practice it. You've practiced and studied conscious communication, so you don't just blindly have fights with your spouse. You've actually gone and worked with a relationship expert or a coach or a therapist to learn how to communicate with your husband or your wife, how to communicate with your children. If you're in that game, if you are on the court playing instead of in the stands watching, in my view, you are either a high performer or you're displaying high performance actions. So,
or potential to be.
And the potential to be. But then the flip side of that, I would submit that a non-high performer would be someone who's just resistant to change, wants to be right rather than happy, is stuck in their ways, has limiting beliefs, creates stories, blames other people, blames circumstances, is not 100% responsible, hasn't looked at themselves, is unwilling to do the work. It's all too hard. They're just blindly going through life, and they're unwilling to put a microscope on themselves. And I get it. It's hard. It's challenging. I didn't want to do it. I resisted it for years until I did it, and it sucked. I remember crying in front of a room of 16 people in this personal development program. And we don't, in Australian culture, you don't share your feelings like that. Like, it just wasn't the done thing. But in 2017, I found myself in an Irvine, California hotel conference room, crying in front of a room of 16 other people about how I wanted to have a closer relationship with my mummy and daddy. And it wasn't fun. It was terribly unpleasant. But but as soon as I did that and went through that, I then had healing conversations with my mother and father. And I'm so proud to say that I've never felt more engaged and more connected with both of them. I asked my father if we could hug for the first time in 30 years as a grown man. And we did in the streets of Brisbane, Australia, on a lunchtime, on a Friday lunchtime in a restaurant. And from that moment on, the depth of our conversations have been just truly remarkable. So that's what I would say would be the difference between a high performer and someone who maybe isn't as high a performer.
How does your program, is it tailored to everyone, every individual? And how does it kind of like tease out those issues and help them solve not just the symptom, but the root problem?
Yeah, it's essentially a personal development program through a 90-day stop drinking container. And so what we've done with this stop drinking program, it's not just, hey, we're going to hold you accountable to stop drinking. We're also going to introduce you to a whole host of concepts that are going to help you do a clearing during these 90 days. And that clearing is identify why you get triggered by a certain person, why you lash out at your wife or husband, why you're not present with your kids, why you're a donkey chasing a carrot, why you keep trying to make millions of dollars in your business. Why do you need that? Why are you numbing the pain and procrastinating? Why are you watching porn or falling for love addiction or shopping addiction, et cetera, et cetera? So we dig into that in a container of you're also not allowed to drink alcohol. And we also explain the science around alcohol and help participants during the 90 days with us to have the most fun they've ever had being alcohol free. Because people mistakenly believe that if they're not going to drink, then they're going to be dull and boring. But we show them and we teach them and we hold their hand through situations where they get to have the most fun being alcohol free.
Hmm. Hey, pull back the curtains for us, because you just shot out some rapid fire questions that you're helping people ask of themselves, right? Why am I addicted to porn? Why do I need to chase, entrepreneurial success? On and on and on. What are some of the most common answers? Not all of the answers, but give us some of the most common answers that you help people land on or discover.
Hey, everybody. It's your host, Jesse Karajak. Quick interruption of this podcast. Look, there's a multitude of ways that we all can and should look to improve our drinking habits, right? And we talk about them all the time on this show. Things like getting in a group, being honest with people, focusing on sleep and nutrition and exercise. I can go on and on. But what most people don't know, and frankly, I didn't know, is that there is an FDA-approved medication that you can start taking. It's easily accessible and private and affordable, and you can start taking it today and start experiencing powerful benefits within days. And again, I've done it. I'm blown away by it. And I want to get the word out so that as many people as possible know that is an option that they can and should use. So there's a company called OR Health. That's OAR Health. You can text STRENGTH, that's STRENGTH, to 710710. Again, that's STRENGTH to 710710. You'll get a secure link. You can fill out an assessment. And if the medication is right for you, a licensed medical professional will prescribe it for you and privately, discreetly have it shipped to your home. You'll be one of over 35,000 people that have decided to take back control of their drinking through OR Health. And 76% of OR Health members report drinking less within just 2 weeks. So if you've been struggling, know that there is an incredibly powerful option out there for you. So again, strength to 710710 to see if it's a fit. And now back to the show.
Generally speaking, people are just so uncomfortable being by themselves or like just sitting with themselves. Like the pain of actually themselves is so much that they need to distract themselves with social media, with drinking, with porn, with love addiction, with cheating, even with exercise. I mean, as good as exercise is for it, and it's far better to be an exercise addict than it is an alcohol addict. Even some people throw themselves into over-exercising because they just cannot be with themselves. So that's a general concept. And then more specifically, I've heard things of like their father told them that they weren't good enough, and so they went F you to my father, and now I'm going to go and show him, and I'm going to go, and that shows up later on in life with this being an overachiever and try to like have business success and working 18-hour days to try to achieve financial success to prove someone's father's wrong. But then, of course, that compromises their relationship with their wife or their children. They're burned out. They start drinking alcohol to try and numb the pain of being burned out, and then the vicious cycle continues. So that's one example. You know, we've all had trauma from our parents, all of us. It doesn't even matter even if you had the most beautiful, incredible relationship with your parents, we're still traumatized by our parents. And so a lot of times our clients will start to bring those things up. Like my father was very hard on me. My mum was very hard on me. My mum left us when we were this age. My father left us when I age. And then even people, when they said I had a great, beautiful, middle kind of normal suburban American life with loving parents and good health, even that messed them up because they said they were too coddled, they were too supported. They weren't forced to go out and kind of stretch and test themselves in life. And so now we're in this little cocoon, and then that shows up with this in this lifestyle of having everything available to them, never having to really strive for anything. And that's left them with a feeling of a lack of self-worth because things have just been handed to them on a silver platter. So there's many, many different reasons. Some people took the money in a corporate job, even though they desperately wanted to go and do this other thing. But then they got married and had a couple of kids, and they decided it was too late. And now they're filled with self-loathing because they see other people chasing their dreams, and now they're stuck in corporate America. So there's all kinds of different reasons.
Yeah. So for me, and I know that you don't know my story, James, but I left that corporate career that you just described to a T. And I was struggling with alcohol. I was using alcohol as essentially like medicine to turn my mind off. 3 young kids, marriage, corporate stress, on and on. You probably hear it all the time. But back to the idea of parents and trauma. Over the course of the last 14 months since I left that career and been doing this, I mean, I'm forced to reflect all the time on what was motivating me to choose ambition and corporate success over my own mental health and presence. And I can trace it back squarely to my father. My father died when I was 19 years old from AIDS, and his last conscious memory of me was me getting kicked out of college for drunk fighting. He had a brain tumor that was caused from his disease. He had a weakened immune system, made him susceptible to brain cancer, and he picked me up from college, was driving me home. I felt ashamed. I felt embarrassed. I felt discouraged. And my father's last memory of his son, me, was of me essentially getting kicked out of school. And then he died 3 months after that. And, for me, it was, he was a loving man. He made some bad decisions with intravenous drugs that wound up getting him the disease, and he died. But for me, I was 19 years old. I'm 39 actually now. And I feel as though I spent 17 years of my life trying to prove to him and to myself that I'm a good person and I'm a good man. But it was sort of insidious and beneath the surface. I didn't know that was motivating me, but there was this strong, intense desire to redeem myself in his eyes, and he had been gone for 18 years. So all of that to say, as a small sample of one, I can relate with what you're saying about how our parents can influence us. And we all have our influences where we find ourselves where we are, but that one resonates with me for sure.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that, Jesse. That's powerful, isn't it? And self-awareness is the main thing, isn't it? And you're obviously clearly self-aware, so I acknowledge you for digging deep into acknowledging that about yourself.
Yeah, thank you for that. Did you always find yourself helping this niche of high performers, or did you start off more broadly and then found yourself there because that's who you resonate with and identify with?
Yeah, I started off trying to help everyone stop drinking. In 2015, I had this little program called the 30-Day No Alcohol Challenge. In fact, it's still live on the internet now at 30daynoalcoholchallenge.com. It's been going 9 years. People still buy it and participate in it. And for the first 4 years of that program until 2019, I was trying to help everyone. So I was like, hey, I got this 30-day program. I want to help people stop drinking. And I'll speak through the lens of an entrepreneur business owner, if I may. And I had modest success. I had modest success when I was trying to help everyone. Then in 2019, I joined a business mastermind, and we were trying to get clear on what my core demographic was and who I really wanted to support. And so I decided, as a business owner and entrepreneur, I really wanted to support business owners and entrepreneurs. That's what I am. I like those conversations. I like people who are into personal development. I enjoy spending time with business owners and entrepreneurs. And then candidly, as I said, business owners and entrepreneurs have more disposable income to be able to invest in their personal development. And now, fast forward to 2024, that's our specialty. My company's name is Alcohol Free Lifestyle. Yes, I would love to help everyone, but we really go deep and focus on business owners, entrepreneurs, realtors, executives, people who are, say, well-educated, in some cases affluent, and those who can't afford our programs. I still make sure that we give them free stuff all the time. So we give them a 30-day no alcohol challenge, free trainings. Like nobody who messages me ever goes away without something. Like, so I am supporting everyone, but I also know, I know this from anecdotal evidence and having done this for 9 years, that the people who pay will get the most transformation than those who won't.
Yeah. So I want to ask you a question around moderation. In the last, if I put my finger on it, maybe 4 or 5 years, terms like soberish, sober curious, things like that have really kind of taken off. Some people even say there's a sober curious movement. Yet, alcohol-free lifestyle is the name of your company. But I know that you also can help people to drink less, not just drink at all. What are your thoughts on moderation? And do you help people achieve that as a long-term goal as well?
Hi, I'm Jesse Karajat, founder of Altum Fitness, where our mission is to help you break free from unhealthy habits and mindsets to find true physical and emotional fitness. The Altum Fitness app is a world-class fitness companion offering expertly designed workout programs personalized to any goal and any experience level. By joining this community, you'll gain access to top-notch expert training programs, nutritional guidance, habit change programs, and so much more, all tailored to help you achieve your unique goals. By joining Altum Fitness, you'll also gain access to our exclusive companion community, the Altum Tribe. In the Tribe, you'll find access to expert coaches, habit change programs, live challenges, events, and so much more. It's a space to connect, learn, grow, and be motivated as you navigate your fitness journey. For one low monthly subscription, you'll be granted full access to our fitness app, community, exclusive challenges and content, and so much more. So join Altum Fitness today and become part of our amazing community. Download now and let's live deep.
If someone comes to us and they're going to do our 90-day stop drinking program, they must not drink for 90 days, and we're going to support them in that. And then at the end of that, they have the power to choose what they do with their drinking from that point on. Now, my suggestion is that they really embody choosing an alcohol-free lifestyle, which means don't drink anything. Drink nothing. I haven't drunk since 2010, not one drop. But you don't have to do that. Like, we're not saying here that you have to do that. Everyone has the power to make their own choice. Here's the thing. If someone's never going to stop drinking, then I would absolutely support them in reducing. Like, if you can just reduce the amount of alcohol, that will have noticeable health benefits and will definitely improve your life. I'm certain of that. So I would much prefer you reduce and do moderation than if you're drinking quantities that are compromising your relationships and your health and your wealth and your love and your happiness. And I'm somewhat biased because I haven't drunk since 2010. I can just say with conviction, I've had a life with alcohol and a life without, and without. No moderation, no special occasion, no one drink here or there. Without has just completely transformed my life. And it just, all areas of my life, most of the time, not always, feel at least like they're an 8 out of 10.
Yeah, that's amazing. So that's 14 years.
Yes, sir.
14 years without a drop. Good for you. And if I'm, Wikipedia is a wonderful thing. You're going to be 50 soon. Is that right?
I'll be 50 in 2025. Yes.
There you go. Happy early birthday there. That's amazing. As you look back on your life and the different seasons within it, what would you say is maybe the thing that you're most proud of and what you've accomplished outside of your personal life, and anything with marriage or kids, but professionally and maybe specifically in this alcohol-free lifestyle? What are you most proud of?
Well, I think it's changed over the years, but right now I've reached what I would call entrepreneurial utopia. I have a profit-producing business that makes generational impact in people's lives.
Amen.
I don't know of any other bigger microphone or lever that I'm able to pull to create that type of generational impact. I mean, I don't think a politician can create that kind of generational impact. I don't think a judge can do it. I'm not sure a police officer can do it. I'm not sure motivational speakers can do it. But if you can help someone rid themselves of alcohol. And then as a result of that, that person is able to then flourish in their health, wealth, love, and happiness, and therefore be a considerably better role model for their children and their loved ones and their family. And then those loved ones and their family are influenced by that, and then they make healthier choices. That just trickles down through generations and through society.
Immeasurable. It's immeasurable, the impact. Yeah, well said.
Yeah, it's immeasurable. And I get paid to do it. I'm making a buck helping create generational impact for the better, for the good. And so that's what I think I'm most proud of, that I chose a business where I can tangibly see and feel the positive impact that it makes in life. I'm helping generate transformation in people. And it's like dropping a little pebble in a pond. The ripple effect of that stretches out into a family, and people, they save marriages, they have healing conversations, they're more present with their children. That shows up in their work, so they perform better, they're able to make a bigger impact, they're more present, they're less irritable, they're sleeping better, their experience of life is so much better. I'm most passionate about learning how to be a better leader at the moment. As much as you're giving me these lovely platitudes and praise, I run an organization of 24 staff, and I'm still prone to being irritable and frustrated at times and saying the F word and things like that. So I haven't reached emotional utopia, let's just say that. So what I'm really excited about is keep learning about how I can be a better leader of people, and more specifically in my company. And we have an incredible company culture. Everyone's really positive and amazing, but I know I can do better. And so that's kind of a fun challenge that's stretching me at the moment. And then thank you for asking me where people can find us. alcoholfreelifestyle.com. I have a podcast called Alcohol Free Lifestyle, which you can find on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. And then I'm on Instagram. We have a couple 100,000 followers there. It's all on how to reduce or stop drinking alcohol. So if you want some free resources there, feel free to follow me at James Swanwick, and feel free to send me a DM. I'd be happy to send you some free training resources.
Roger that. Yeah, I've listened to your podcast. It's wonderful. It's highly rated, and I will link to all of the resources you just named in the episode show notes. So James, man, I'm so grateful you said yes to be on the show. Thanks for joining the Sober Strength podcast.
Thank you, Jesse. Thanks for asking great questions and having me on. Appreciate it.
All right, everybody, that's the show, folks. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Sober Strength podcast and spending some time with us today. We've got a favor to ask. If you enjoyed the show, would you please consider subscribing to the show and even leaving a rating and review? That simple act drastically helps us reach more people in our mission to help them live better, longer, healthier lives. You can also follow us if you'd like on Instagram and YouTube for regular tips and motivation around mental health, addiction, and so much more. Know that your support fuels our brand and is greatly appreciated. So until next time, stay strong and live deep.